Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jason Runyon, the CEO of AID. First off, I want to thank Michael and his team for running the German Blockchain Week here. My first time being in Germany, let alone Berlin, so all the hospitality and everything. First off, thank you to everybody who I've met and talked with. You all are tremendously great and beautiful people, so thank you, first off. A little bit about us. AID comes from an aggregation and a frustration on my part, hearing so many people want to get into the crypto space, and they wanted to get into DeFi because they understand that controlling their assets and understanding centralizing them can cause them some headaches. I still heard a lot of frustration from people. And over the last 2 years or so, I took a look at some stuff, met a lot of people in my travels, and said, well, let's put our heads together and come up with something and put something together that everybody could use. So that's kind of where the AID situation kind of came from. So if you take a look here, you see 4 different components, so to speak, to the AID ecosystem. And that's kind of what I was building, is that someone who gets into DeFi that maybe wants to liquidity farming or arbitrage, and obviously with all the different blockchains that are out there, what it comes down to is they have to go to multiple places to get that information, to get that data, to come up with a significant opportunity for themselves to make it worth their while. But when you go to all these different places, I'm sure we all can see this, if you look at different dexes or something else, everything is slightly off from the last one, or some dexes don't report data for one token or chain or another. Whatever the case is, it was tremendously segmented, and it still is. So I wanted to try to put something together that was one ecosystem where everybody could kind of be together, see everything that they wanted. So if you take a look here on the next slide, so at the top we have the AIDData part. That's kind of like the brain behind everything. All the information that a user would put into it. So they could drill down and say, I want to target this size of a TVL. I want to target only these chains. I only want to look at, tokens that have been out for X amount of time versus, maybe somebody doesn't want to even mess with like the meme coin market because, well, that's a train wreck. So this helps them kind of say, okay, let's put in all these things. This is what I want to look at. This is what I want to do. And that's what the AIDData part comes from. And as you can see, it kind of covers decentralized exchange trading volume, swapping in and out. It can look at the yield hunting, yield rankings, pretty much anything that what we're used to with something like DeFi Llama, Dex Screener, all that data is there. The data is also pulled through different language models. So we use a lot of the open source LLMs that are out there and usable and accessible to everybody today. So when you come in and put all your data in, it'll spit down the data to the AID DeFi side of everything. And this is where you can look at the smart contract side. And if AIDData is the brains behind everything, then AID DeFi is going to kind of be the actor. This is where you can look at the smart contracts. We've also implemented something like a lossless cycle restaking, or LCR. I've been asked what that is, and essentially when you go in and take a look at things and you stake into something, obviously you can look at different impermanent loss situations. This has the ability to take a look at the smart contracts in the different areas that you hit based off of the data that you put in initially, comes down to here, and then you can say, okay, here's your top 5, your top 10, whatever the case is. Well, if you jumped into one and those other ones are still available, as you've earned from the one position you're already in, it will then carry over into others, eliminating that chance or minimizing that chance of any type of loss on the impermanent side. Coming down to the AIDSocialFi aspect of it, this is one of my favorite things because I'm a community guy. I believe that crypto at the high level, and then everything that branches out from that should be something to grow, and the community itself has to be welcoming to that. And too many people, I guess bad actors, other problems, whatever else we've all faced, if there's no community, there's no growth, and then the space dies. I don't want to see that. I'm sure you guys don't. So in the AIDSocialFi aspect of it, there's a huge amount of information here. The AID bot itself, kind of like its own little bot. As you work with it and get involved with it, it will kind of learn as to what you like to do. There's also the big thing that I like is the chats and the groups and everything. We can hold up to 100,000 users per group that's set up and built. So with that being said, instead of having to have a project on Discord, Telegram, somewhere else, if you're using AID, well then you can also use the SocialFi. You don't have to have other things open because you have the data model right there. You have your actor over there, and then you can fast forward over here to the AIDEx. So the AIDEx Right now, swapping and staking and some kind of like cross-chain bridges. Our roadmap is going to carry out to actually fulfill all the rest, such as the borrowing and lending, the prediction markets, task rewards, etc. up there. But currently, our use case is for swapping and cross-chain bridging and some of the staking. So with my short amount of time that I have up here, I just want to say that the goal here is to create one whole large ecosystem. And we've been out trying to make partnerships, speak at conferences such as this, and get around people that are trying to build onto things as well and make this a growing atmosphere within the DeFi space. And hopefully AID will be a very useful tool for everybody. Case in point, we were shooting for 30,000 users this year. We hit 30,000 users before the end of Q1. So now my goal is to have 100,000 users on board. So overall, everything the way that it's running with our different partnerships, such as OneKey that's here today, this week I should say. Our DApp is integrated with them. It's also, I think, with OKX. We also have BitGet that we have a partnership with that our DApp is on. And then several other different DEXs that are out there. We're also on those as well. So everything's decentralized, but also goes back to the AID token. Once things get going, token is currently on a couple different, kind of always changing, so I forget fully as to what those are, but everything's decentralized. Everything stays with the person. Nothing leaves their wallet or anything like that. It's no different than using something like Uniswap or something to that effect. The user is still in control, and that's what I want to keep it at. So at the end of the day, I love the opportunity to come up and at least speak about what we have here to offer. Anybody wants to talk to us at any time, I'm always walking around. Again, I love talking with everybody that we have here so far this week and getting out the information that we have. And I just look forward to growing the space even more. So that's about all I have. But thank you guys for your time.